Hello, everybody, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bloody Good Horror. My name's Eric, and I'll be your host for this evening, where we will be reviewing Freaky, because it's like Freaky Friday, John, and someone else had to explain that to me. Maybe we'll talk about that later. I'm going to be your host for this evening, coming to you from a place where it's cold in the Northeast. Joining me tonight, first up from Indiana, please welcome Casey.
It was a low 50s today. It was pleasant.
That is pleasant. From Chicago, Illinois, bringing the Christmas spirit. Please welcome Joe.
Yeah, we hit 55 today. It was delightful.
From somewhere,
Right.
John Schnars. Welcome to the show. Where the hell? Maryland. Maryland.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah.
It's one of the original 13 colonies, Eric. Come on.
Oh, wow.
OG.
I'm pretty sure the one
And 13 original colonies.
I'm pretty sure the one I'm in, John, came before that, but no big deal.
Maybe.
There's a rock here, John. Have you heard of it?
We can look that up. It's no Virginia.
Fun fact,
that's for
John, I've
sure.
been to Plymouth Rock, and A, it's just a rock, and B, it's fake. They just picked a rock, and they're like, that's it. That's the rock.
Wait, what?
It's not real. Like, it's the general area where they landed, but they just picked a big-ass rock on the beach and built a little pavilion around it, and you literally just walk over a ledge and you stare down at a rock. But it's not a thing. It's not anything.
They
I
didn't
went- I
write, like,
grew up
Proctor
in-
John on it and like a heart forever.
Right.
I grew up in Plymouth, and yes, our football team was the Rockies.
Wait,
That's
Plymouth,
weird
Indiana?
and confusing.
Good Lord.
Good
Last
God,
up
that is
tonight.
depressing that you're named after like a thing that didn't even happen in your state.
I know.
Last up
Jesus
tonight,
Christ.
coming to us from a place that I think is most well known as the birthplace of Mark Borchardt. Please welcome the editor of BloodyGoodHorror.com, Andy, to the show.
Hi, Eric. How's it going?
Andy, you regularly see Mark Borchardt, of course, the director/star of American Movie, one of the greatest documentaries ever made. You just see him around, like hanging out like a person.
Yeah, I mean, like he's just a person that lives in Milwaukee. He's a filmmaker still, and yeah, he's doing well. He's doing good.
Does he, in normal times, did he come to your theater?
I mean, I don't know how comfortable I am in saying yes or no to that.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're so cool.
Oh.
He would never out a patron
Okay,
of the theater.
DM me, Andy. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, tonight we heard to talk about Freaky, guys. Is this the first time we've ever reviewed a legit Vince Vaughn movie on the show? Because I'm pretty excited to get into it.
Did you ever do The Cell, like as a staff
No,
pick?
I don't think we did.
Yes.
Did
Yeah,
we?
No,
we
we
did.
did. We
did do
definitely
an
did.
episode.
Oh,
Joe did.
weird. That's a different Vince Vaughn, though. That might as well be a whole other human being.
Yeah.
That's like reviewing a 1996 Nicolas Cage movie and then reviewing like a 2021 and comparing them like it's the same person in both
This
movies.
is second stage, Vince Vaughn.
Yeah.
I would have loved, and we talked about doing it on his Fist Call, but he did that movie Brawl in Cell Block 99. Looked pretty dope.
Yeah.
I mean,
did see that one.
he's
That was
gotten
a good
into
movie.
better shape than he was in. Like I thought he looked pretty good in this one. Looking good.
He's definitely had some moments of less good shape,
Speaking
I'd
of
say.
being in shape, did anybody see that trailer with Bob Odenkirk today from the
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Nobody was
Yeah.
called? Yeah.
My
Yeah.
God.
Anybody? Nobody. Yeah.
Nobody. Yeah.
Damn, dude, that movie looks amazing.
I'm
It's
in.
stupid and
Real
hilarious.
good.
I love
John
it.
Wick 4, Suburgatory.
Yeah,
Mm.
basically. All right.
We were slacking about this, but I really want to see David Cross show up as his tech guy.
Oh God.
Oh.
That would be awesome.
Or just the same movie with David Cross. I could also get into that. Like, I need more David Cross in my life. All right, Joe, please tell us what we are drinking tonight. Oh, try that.
Beer guts.
Beer guts, Joe. Beer guts.
I'd say I have just the right amount of David Cross in my life. I watch
Okay, that's fair.
Alvin and the Chipmunks. I think it's 3 or 2. Shipwrecked. Shipwrecked.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Whichever. The one
I
went
get
on
it.
the boat, John.
Chipmunks?
Yes.
I got that on. Have you ever? This is way off topic, but have you ever heard the story around that where like he's in a costume like a big giant animal costume for the entire movie, but they made him do it. Like they didn't get an extra or like someone to like fill in for him. They were like, "No, you're getting money for this. You're gonna fucking
Yeah.
run around in this."
You're gonna earn that paycheck. I
Yeah.
have not heard that. story.
Amazing.
What's also funny about it is they made him wear jean shorts inside of the costume. Wild
Yeah.
stuff.
Well, he's a never nude.
Yeah, exactly.
So this one, you're gonna have to take a walk with me here, John, for tonight's movie. But Freaky, a delightful tale of a older gentleman that gets thrown into the body of a younger lass.
Mm-hmm.
They switch places.
Oh, okay.
And in honor of that transformation, now go with me here. I picked a beer from the good folks at Russian River Brewing. They are all the way out in
California.
yeah, somewhere in California. I had the
Uh,
actual.
I've been there. Fuck. It's one
I
of it's
had
like
the actual location in front of me, and I must have closed it or something.
it's,
But
it's in the Russian River Valley, I believe.
yeah, Gurneyville, California.
Ah.
So anyway, the beer I picked from them is their Consecration. And the reason I picked that, John, is they brew this delicious wild ale. It comes to fruition. It gets full body, and then they transfer it into wine barrels, John, where it
Oh.
does all its fermentation. So they take a beer and they transfer it into a wine, John. That's what happens. um, it sounded good when I thought of it.
I'll allow it.
Yeah, yeah. I'll
yeah.
allow
Barely.
So anyway, as I mentioned, this is a wild ale, which it pretty much means that it just kind of does its own thing during fermentation. There's no like specific style or way to describe.
You're also describing
each.
Vince Vaughn. Like, it doesn't matter the character; he's gonna do his own thing.
But this one, a lot of people will recognize this as like a sour ale. But this one is probably a lot darker than most are used to. A lot of that due to the aging in wine barrels. Almost like a cab sab
Oh.
barrels, John. They put it in, so you get a lot of sort of like tobacco and like rich chocolate flavors in there. It's very good, but also has like sort of that sourness that people love with their beers. Comes in about 10% alcohol, so it's up there,
Mm-hmm.
and it'll do you well.
10% is it's almost wine. You're right.
It's one you're gonna want to sip in front of the fireplace before you bed your lady or gentleman, like a bearskin rug, and then or someone will do oral, maybe not both of you, but there's gonna be oral and then like just full on lovemaking in front of a fireplace.
I wonder how hard it
anyway.
is. I wonder how hard it is to clean a bearskin rug. Probably hard.
Oh my god.
You don't.
It's
Like,
not great.
because they sell
John.
like those ones at IKEA that I don't think are real. Like I assume you
Oh,
do
yeah,
your
the-
thing.
Well, a,
It's not killing
synthetic
bears.
one probably easier to clean. That's probably the way to go. 'Cause-
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
the
you don't
instruction
clean it,
manual
you
for
just- you
Yeah.
just throw it away, like because they're like 10
I
bucks.
thought you actually put it over your shoulders and then you got to go find like a creek to roll around it.
Oh God.
it's actually a revenant prop item, is what it is.
Anyway, Russian River Brewing, RussianRiverBrewing.com is their website. These guys are super well known. Pliny the Elder is their big beer. It's like one of the more famous like IPAs, and especially kind of kickstarted a lot of the craft beer movement. Delicious if you can get your hands on it. And yeah, just celebrate them when you can.
Cool.
And I'm done.
Love it. Thank you, Joe. All right,
Thanks.
guys, it is time. Let's take a break so that we can discuss Freaky.
This is it, Jennifer. Your big break in TV. From the prime time. Main feature.
And we're back. John Schnars,
Eric,
you're really weakly here pushing the limits of what I'm expected to accept as a person who knows words, like with that haircut specifically.
wait till you hear today's word, Eric. You're gonna be.
Like, you're looking more Puddle of Mud-ish every week, I think.
I can't wear a baseball cap. That's because I'm afraid you're just gonna like go off on a puddle of mud. Right?
I
mean-
I don't feel like you wore a lot of baseball hats, John. I think you should do it.
I mean, I don't
No,
know. I
he's
don't- I don't
afraid.
know.
He's afraid of looking too much like the guy from Puddle of Mud. is
Yeah,
what he's
yeah, that's
saying.
I'm
what I
gonna
was
say,
saying.
like, is he a big baseball hat? I don't think he is.
Mm,
Well,
yeah,
the
backwards,
only picture I've ever seen of him is the one Eric found, and he had a baseball.
backwards
Yeah.
hat,
Oh, I
and then
see.
like
Alright.
dirt hair, stick it like flowing out the back, basically.
I mean, Eric is a Duke hat. He can send you, right?
Yeah, I do.
Yes,
That will never
it's
get worn
true.
again unless I reprise the John Schnarr's Halloween costume, which I'm lazy, so that's entirely possible.
I was gonna say, you've solved your Halloween costume
Forever.
problem.
Every year I'm
It's 20
Schnarr's.
years.
Yeah,
Yeah.
every year. It's never
You have
going
to
to get
start
there
growing
is
your
that.
hair, dude.
Yeah,
it's never going to get
there's
better.
a backward baseball cap in one of the videos. I see where this came from. All right.
I'll send you a wig, Eric.
Yeah.
For next year.
Yeah, that's probably how I'm going to have to go, John. I don't, all right. John, please bring us
Mhm.
the word of the day.
Eric, today's word, mascot. MASCOT. I think we know what a mascot is. It's not the most exciting part of this. A person or thing that is supposed to bring good luck or that is used to symbolize a particular event or organization. I was curious the origin of the word mascot,
Uh-huh.
and it comes to us from the French, late 19th century, so relatively recent. The word mascotte, which they trace back
I'm sure they
to-
do not pronounce the T, John.
Yeah, I
I'm
don't
not
know, I mean-
French, but I know
Well,
things.
it's got two T's. I feel like when there's two T's, you pronounce them. In any event, feminine diminutive of masco, MASCO, which means witch.
Oh, weird.
I think you're only supposed to pronounce one T.
Witch. Okay, that's fine. Sure. Listen, I've never.
It's
met a
it's
French
V
speaker.
V V V E E I T C H.
Yeah.
Can you try saying it again with only one T, John?
Thank you, Joe. So yeah, there you go, mascot. And the mascot here. So our main character, Millie. Millie, we're gonna have to talk about Millie because the idea is that she's like.
By the way, no
a
girl who
loser.
looks like that gets made the mascot. Just
No,
heads up.
well, all right. So exactly, like she's the loser in this high school. Like they do.
They
like,
don't even bother putting her hair up and putting glasses
It's
on her.
exactly. It's not like there's always the like she's all that joke where
Yeah.
it's like super hot actress, but she's wearing glasses, and so then they like take the glasses. Oh my god, they don't even try. So, but she is the mascot, which I agree with you. Typically, this person is not playing the mascot in the high school. That's
There
whatever.
is a brief line where she says she's doing it for extracurriculars for her college application.
No,
so.
I mean they at least you're right.
Okay,
That's fair.
Andy.
But she's also not like a
Your
great like
logic.
she's not super talented at it. It's not like she's like turning backflips in the.
Maybe that's
What-
why everyone hates her, because she's
Oh,
just
the-
like fucking up the mascot. They're
Well,
like,
she's
Okay,
high
okay,
up for the
Schnars.
team.
Now
Well,
you're
they're
just
also
Yeah.
the Beavers.
now you're
They're
just
the
negging
Beavers.
her. Yes, they are the Beavers. That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, her predecessor could have been amazing, and now they're like, this asshole thought she could fill, Becky's shoes.
That's
I
true,
wish I
but
could remember what the
that's-
cheer
yeah.
was because it was really funny. There were
Uh-huh.
some beaver jokes in there, John.
Or some.
Yeah. Why don't you tell
Um,
me about Freaky, John? Let's
Yeah,
get the show on the
Freaky.
road here.
I mean, look, I'm not going to say I know a ton about this, but we can start with the fact that it comes to us from Christopher Landon, who we've talked about actually a fair bit over the last couple of years.
Wait, what do you mean, John? Did you watch it? Did you watch
No,
it?
no, I mean, I didn't like go deep on the friggin' production history here. Christopher Landon, director, writer of Happy Death Day and Happy Death Day to You. He also wrote.
I didn't.
all-
Okay, I didn't put that together.
Yeah. He made both those films. He also wrote all of the Paranormal Activities after the first one. Well, he wrote 2, 3, 4, and then he wrote and directed the marked ones, which I've been on the record as saying I think is one of the better ones of those movies. He also directed Scout's Guide to the Zombie Apocalypse, which we didn't cover on the show, but I know people liked. So yeah, there you go, Christopher Landon. I mean, and look, like anyone, and I think Eric, you may have mentioned this in your email, like it will not surprise anyone who did not know that this comes from the same person that made Happy Death Day to You. It's very similar.
No, Andy
sort of
mentioned that.
aesthetic. Okay.
Yeah.
I
I did literally just learned it from you, John, so I couldn't have mentioned it.
Well, no, but in someone's email, maybe it was Andy. They mentioned how they kept wanting them to, or they were expecting it to like cross over into the same universe. It does sort of feel like that. Like it just has that same look and feel, and the pacing and the tone is all very similar. But yeah, I mean, the basic outline here, as I think Eric teed up at the very beginning, you have Vince Vaughn playing the Blissfield Butcher, who's sort of like a local urban legend, but actually real. And so he gonna kill a bunch of kids on the night of what is it? Their homecoming, right? Is the big dance. Um, he through just wacky series of events switches bodies with Millie, a like 10th grader in high school, who, as we were just discussing, is a nerd, even though she's like, there's no obvious reason she would be a nerd.
It's 2020, John.
Uh,
There's no rules. There's no social structure
That's
anymore.
true.
It's
You're right.
all
That's fair.
wild
We haven't
card.
been in high school in a long time, so
Yeah.
Bro,
I
you're
mean, we
telling
don't know
me.
her backstory. She could be a giant asshole. Like,
no, but like she's not. Like we meet her and she's like objectively like a nice
but
person.
I'm saying,
Listen,
like,
she-
a week before she could have been like the like a white supremacist or something in the school, and we just don't know that about her.
Well,
Listen,
but-
guys, her dad is dead, so everyone hates her.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Yeah,
So
well, he
like,
could have
let's-
died in like some freak Klan rally accident. Like that's the whole backstory around Millie.
That does happen.
Well, hold on, and like I don't want to go too far off on a tangent here, but like Ryler, who is like coded as the popular girl, is like an outright bitch to everyone, and it's just like a horrible human being. It's whatever. I feel like high school movies these days, like they just often feel just over the top. I think this one. Is
I mean, it's also
probably
a
intentionally so.
satire, John.
Yeah. I mean, but yeah. In any
I
event.
hope it is. I'm terrified for my kids.
John continuing his streak of claiming every high school movie is over the top, despite getting older every year
There was
and not
one that
actually
came
knowing.
up the other day that I thought was actually really felt genuine and naturalistic. I can't remember. It was in the last couple of weeks. All right. In any event, these two switch bodies. So now you have 10th grade girl or whatever. I think she's 10th or 11th grade. Or no, she must be a senior because she's applying to college. Is now her body is now inhabited by the Blissfield Butcher, who just like gets very little backstory and is only interested in gruesomely murdering people, which is, I mean, is actually pretty enjoyable. And then Vince Vaughn, giant human, I guess they say he's like 6'4", 6'5", at least that comes up in the movie, is now playing the Millie sort of, very self-conscious, not super confident girl. And it's about their, the growth that these characters have to go through now that they're in this Freaky Friday type of experience.
All right, love it. Andy, as our guest, what'd you think?
I liked a lot of the surface level aspects of this movie. Like Vince Vaughn and Catherine Newton, they both do a wonderful job in the roles that they are given, embodying one another. And a couple of the interviews I read leading up to the show today, like actually they discuss how they talked with the director about how they wanted to use like Terminator 2 as like a reference point specifically for Millie's physicality when the Blissfield Butcher is embodying her.
I like that.
And so, yeah, like all of that stuff, I think like works really well. That being said, like I think the movie is more interested in all of the ancillary characters and like what it's trying to do from a subtextual level. And so because of that, it kind of ignores what's going on with the plot of the movie. And I don't really think that there's much to really hold on to when it is ultimately finishes.
Now, for the audience's sake, what was my response to you, Andy, after you emailed all your thoughts?
I think it was LOL. That is 100% the reaction you would have.
Yep. I also said I love you for the record, but I guess that didn't make the grade.
You tell him that every day. So
That's
it's not,
true.
like, weird when you say it.
I mean, like if I wake up and I don't have a text that says that from Eric, I get concerned.
Yes, that's true. Joe, what'd you think?
I mean, Andy pretty much used the exact same words I was about to, so I feel like I can't really add anything here. No, I don't disagree with Andy's thoughts, at least the ones I understood. But I think for me, this movie was just fun. And it might just be the movies we've watched recently. Like, I just needed like a straight up slasher movie, right?
It's been a weekly parade of crotch cakes for months.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it was just kind of nice to see like something fun. That being said, it felt like this, and I don't know if I mentioned this over email, but like at a certain point, I expected some of the cast members from Happy Death Day to like wander on camera and like us to be told that this takes place in the same world, because like it has the exact same tone and feel to the point where it just felt like a little cheap to me. And, but I mean, outside of that, it's still like super enjoyable. And then we'll talk about the last 15 minutes of this where I think it just turned into like a complete train wreck, and I wish they'd kind of just chopped it off. But I mean, overall, I ended up enjoying this.
Casey.
Yeah, so I had a blast with this movie, and that's what it boiled down to. It was no Happy Death Day. It was no Happy Death Day 2 even, but it was still good and it was still fun. And I got a lot of good laughs, and I ultimately when I was happy and excited by the time I got done with it. So I would count that as a good thing. I thought Vince Vaughn was really the standout after the body swap. He was really cracking me up the way he was putting on his feminine wiles and everything. It was just hilarious. I thought he did a spectacular job, especially since, there's been a large period of Vince Vaughn's career that he wasn't quite that good. So it was nice to see him stretching his wings and stuff. But I think everybody else did good too. And I love the attention they paid to the Easter eggs and stuff like that. There's a ton of Easter eggs for other slasher movies and stuff like that. They had a really good reverence for the genre, I think, and I think they handled it well.
John.
Yeah, I guess I probably land somewhat in the middle. I had a lot of fun watching this. I would say if you put it in the Happy Death Day universe, it's probably not as good a film as the first film. I probably liked it better than the second Happy Death Day. It's a ton of fun. I thought it's super gory, and I thought the kills were a lot of fun. This is like a movie. It pulls zero punches on the sort of violence and the gore, which was great. I mean, it is sort of like throwback slasher in that way. It's a little one note, right? It takes the movie a good long time. The plot that allows them to get to the body swap is pretty complicated. So it's like a good, it's a good 30 minutes before they swap bodies. Now, after that,
is it really? Isn't it?
It's
like the first scene, isn't it?
No.
Yeah, I don't think it was that long.
No, they're at the game.
No, the first scene is
it's not a half an hour
scene.
though.
It's,
oh right, no, but that whole section in the beginning, was just a bunch of kills that are pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That first scene is actually really good.
Yeah, I agree.
Long and short, it's a little one note, right? If you like Vince Vaughn doing this shtick, you're gonna really like this movie, and I did enjoy it. I mean, Joe's point, we should talk about the ending because I didn't have as big a problem with it, but it's a little, it definitely is what? All record scratch ish change of pace almost. So
yeah, I've been saying for months now that I needed a movie like this, and I still didn't know how much I needed it until I got it, John.
Eric, we watched porno last week. I don't know what you want.
Listen, that movie was okay.
I watched porno yesterday.
Let me just preface by saying I really like Vince Vaughn, including when he's just straight up doing the shtick, and I don't know whatever. I mean, sometimes shtick just rubs people the wrong way, but I really like him. I suspect that if you maybe recast Vince Vaughn with just a regular actor who doesn't have a thing he does, this might be unwatchable. So I will say that. To me, Vince Vaughn makes this movie. The amount that he's committing to this whole thing is fucking hilarious, and he's really good at it, and he's thought about a lot of these scenarios and kind of what makes it funny and his body language. There is a scene towards the end where he is in a car with a so at some point all of her friends / love interests know, right, that this is really their friend inside of Vince Vaughn's body, who's a crazy dirty serial, because it's not just that he's a giant dude, he's filthy.
Take a shower at one point.
We see that he lives in some fucking crazy whatever, Texas chainsaw abandoned factory. Yeah. He's filthy. He sleeps on the floors. He's disgusting. Even when he takes a shower, he puts the same clothes back on, right? So he's sitting in the back of a car with the girl's love interest, who's just a good-looking teenage kid, and they end up kissing, but it's they have this whole conversation about how weird it is, but about how he's this really funny line where he's what if I don't know, I just feel maybe I should go sit in the back seat with you right now. It just feels weird being up here. This scene goes on forever. Vince Vaughn should win a fucking Oscar for this scene, dude. It's brilliant, and I loved it. Right, and I actually think what's the actress's name? I've seen her.
Catherine Newton.
Okay, she's in *Halt and Catch Fire*. She plays one of the adult, which is where I think I recognized her from. She's obviously not Vince Vaughn level of comedic acting chops, and she's doing a different thing, but she's really fun to watch too. And so the back and forth of this, especially when they're in the same scenes together, is so much fun to me and makes the movie really enjoyable. This movie is gory as hell to a really insane degree, and I have to wonder, I think this could have gone theatrical, and I wonder if
Well, it would have gone theatrical, Eric, if there wasn't a fucking
Well,
pandemic.
Well, it actually did play in
Hi, John.
theaters.
Welcome.
there
Hi,
you go.
John. Welcome to my point. What I was gonna say was that because it's 2020, I wonder though if at some point in the editing process, if you already know it's not actually gonna get into a theater, you're like, fuck it, I don't care. Leave the 10-second gore shot in. Like it's
Yeah,
never gonna have to go past the MPAA. That these shots would not be in a theatrical cut is my point. Like
Yeah.
there is some shit that is insane in this movie, especially given it's basically a light satirical comedy. And so I love that he just really went for it. Especially now knowing it was Happy Death Day guy, because I know some people sort of hate on that movie because it's PG-13, which is kind of silly, but I wonder if maybe he took some of that stuff to heart.
Sure. Yeah, he actually has like in one of the interviews I read, he has a pretty hilarious like quote about how he wanted to make the most like hardcore gore filled Disney movie that he
It's
could.
crazy gory. Like this scene where she splits the dude in half on the saw
Yeah,
is
Alan, what's his name?
bananas.
Alan,
Yeah, it's like
yeah.
it's really nuts how gory it is. I'm also fairly certain that there's a really like shot for shot reference to Jason Goes to Hell at the end of this movie, which I kind of love, which kind of makes me immediately love this movie forever. I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I think it carries itself on a lot of shtick. I don't disagree with you, Andy, that it for a satire, right, that's trying to comment on things, I think it's really just more having fun than trying to have any kind of message, even though obviously there is some gender stuff there.
Yeah.
Like
Well, I mean,
especially like to me, I think the strongest thread is Vince Vaughn kind of learning what her life is like the way that other dudes, and then him kind of like having fun by being able to respond differently to them. Like that's some of the most fun stuff with her character is seeing the way she throws dudes off who are being creepy with her by just being even creepier back. I think those
Yeah,
are some of the
and-
most fun scenes.
Yeah, and honestly, that scene that you mentioned with like Booker and like Vince Vaughn, Millie in the back of that car, I actually like think that that scene is not only funny, but it's played very genuinely. Like I legit think that they're like going for like a sincere moment between the two of them, and I think it works. Like
It kind of
and it
does
also-
too. Yeah.
Yeah, like, and I think that that also shows you a lot about Booker, like as a character. Like he's not
Yeah.
just a hunk. Like he is a hunk, but like he's also like
Oh,
somebody that can
Andy.
like
Sure
see
is.
past his sexuality.
Andy,
a little
he's
bit.
so
Can you
s-
guys stop talking about how cute this
Andy,
kid
he's
is?
so sensitive and supportive. What's not to like?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
And like, well, it's interesting to juxtapose him with all of the other like male characters or all the other characters
Totally.
that actually are quote unquote punished in this film, right? Like, if we talk about the movie in relationship to the slasher genre, like this movie has a very clear stance of like why it's murdering the people it's murdering. And I think
Yeah,
that
that's
that
interesting.
is something that is definitely on the minds of like Landon and Kennedy, like the people that wrote this.
Well, I was curious about that. Like, so she kills Alan Ruck. That's in that. So he's the woodshop teacher who's just
Mm.
like a huge dick. I mean, he's
Yeah, like
not
even
that
he
good.
hates Millie, which leads me to believe that my racism
Yeah,
like
it's
idea
true.
is true.
No, that's true.
Well,
You're right.
And I
He
also
could
think
be
that there's like a
totally cool.
subtext of him having like an unhealthy relationship with her. Like I think you can definitely like read that. Like not that she is participating in anything,
Yeah, yeah.
but that he has an infatuation with her
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
there's that hilarious moment where when the butcher is in Millie's body and she like licks the blood off of Booker's fingers, and Alan Ruck's response is like, Jesus Christ. That
But,
kills me. Yeah.
But the fact that she like, so the fact that the point you're making, Andy, I think is super interesting. The butcher in Millie's body is making all these decisions about who he is gonna kill, but it's all punishing essentially like douches and like dickhead men,
Yeah.
right?
Oh
Like,
my god, dude, that teacher was the worst.
well, exactly him and like the rapey football players. I mean, like super rapey football. Like
Yeah,
they actually
like-
didn't get like gruesomely
No,
enough killed.
I
at
think
least
they
in
were
my mind.
actually legit gonna rape her in that last scene
Yeah,
where she
no,
kills
no,
all of them.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I don't know. It's the film is also doing, and I'm curious, Andy, if they talk about it. Like, there's a lot of interesting choices around like representation. Like her two friends are a gay guy and like the black girl in school, or like one of the black students in the school. You know, there's just a lot of. It's a very sort of like I don't know, modern progressive movie in that way. Like it felt like it had a progressive agenda behind it.
Woke. It was woke, John. I think.
Well,
it's the
but
word you're
almost
looking
like in a very
John, I don't like your use
I
of the
wouldn't
word
say aggressive-
agenda in this scenario.
for. No, no.
What
agreed.
agenda is that, John? Being decent
Yeah,
human
I would
beings,
say
or
I'm not saying
they
like
went a good way. I think he
We
did
just-
a good way of normalizing it. More
Did
than
you watch
an
the
agenda.
Fox News review of this,
Yeah.
John?
progressive agenda? Jesus
listen,
Christ,
I
John.
was trying to say it as a positive thing, but I guess
John,
Yeah,
you know we
no, I
can't
mean,
let
like-
you have that.
no, that's fair. That's fair.
No, I think that there is a potential criticism people can loft against this and like other types of films like this, like The Craft or Black Christmas, where there's like a certain criticism that people could say like, oh, this is just like performative wokeness. And I think like what that is that's people kind of taking a position before they actually like sit down and engage with the film
Well,
and like actually like watch these characters who are fully embodied characters and performed well.
this is
like,
a great.
actually like sell it really well.
I like that thing a lot though, but maybe not for the reason that you intend. Because the difference between this and say like the Black Christmas remake is the Black Christmas remake is a thing that talks at you for 90 minutes about its political stuff, whereas like all of these things we are talking about are all about the interactions of the characters, right? Like
Right.
there are deep plot things happening about a man being inside a woman's body and then seeing how other men treat her, exacting revenge, whatever. Like nothing is being
He's not just a man; he's the Blissfield
But-
butcher.
but my
just,
point is, like,
sadistically murdering people.
my point is
all
that
over
nothing
the
is being preached at the audience. It's just a story, and we're seeing like what John calls the agenda. It's just that we're seeing different, or we're seeing very specific examples of ways human beings can treat each other and ways they can think or whatever. But it's all has to do with the plot. And to me,
Yes.
that makes your message and your agenda, it makes it so much more effective than something like the Black Christmas remake.
So Eric, I'm going to agree with you, and I want you all to remember that I said I agree with Eric, because I just like the one thing I will play back, and maybe Andy, this is part of what you're either getting at or other people would get, but like there is an issue. Is like it's a white man who made this movie, and wrote and directed it, and like a pretty privileged white man too. So like whether or not that matters, I agree with you. It's a great film, and it doesn't feel preachy, which I like. But there's a performative wokeness in the fact that it's like coming from someone who like is in a
Yeah.
position of privilege. That's
And
all. I'm
just
saying.
yeah, no, totally. And just for an additional bit of context, both he and the writer Michael Kennedy, in the interviews, they basically talk about how they were both closeted in high school, and so a lot of what they wanted to bring to the film was like that kind of perspective.
yeah, John,
and,
do you
like,
have any
what
more
they
thoughts
would
on
like
that
to
now?
see.
Sorry,
But I mean, like-
Michael Landon's son has not had like a lot of challenges in his life, whether or not he was closeted. I just want to put
Wait,
that on the table.
is that really Michael Landon's son? Because I feel
Yes.
like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was gonna make that joke, and then I thought I must have made that joke on the other two Happy Death Day movies, so I'm not gonna bother.
I was just thinking about that
No,
theme,
and
theme
at
song.
the time that you made it back then, he also was his son. So
Yeah.
it's-
Are you sure? That
Yes.
might be a new thing.
Yeah, no, he
I think
adopted
that's a
him.
recent addition.
He-
He adopted him from beyond the
post-
grave.
yeah, yeah, exactly. No, Christopher Landon adopted Michael Landon as his dad. Actually, so post-mortem.
It's a
Just-
spiritual adoption.
Yeah,
Um,
Nice. I didn't know you could do that.
I mean, like, since we're talking about her friends, I mean, like, what did you guys think about the supporting characters, like Josh and Nyla?
I think they end up being funny, but like her best friend, the guy who's gay, like I have never had a character make me feel older in my entire life. Like
So
the
I was
two
gonna
of
say
them.
He was my favorite of the
Yeah.
side
Yeah, no,
I
like
really
they're
enjoyed him.
funny and but it's just like the dialogue. Like I'm not even saying there's anything
Well,
wrong with it. I'm just saying it made me feel like a fucking dinosaur. Like listening
Dude.
to these people
The
talk.
scene with him
You
and his
gotta
mom.
get on TikTok, Eric. All right, just get on
Joe,
TikTok. And
Joe,
yeah,
first of all, I don't want to hear it because your TikTok is all like home improvement shit, which is not the same thing as a 16-year-old's TikTok. Second of all, I am on TikTok. Okay.
Hold on.
um,
I just want to give him credit for the scene with his mom. And not only this is the
Amazing.
writing, but
like
also
one of
the
my
acting.
favorite scenes in the movie. It
Yeah.
was amazing.
Yes.
the mom
Yes.
comes home,
Is that a
the-
sex
the-
thing?
Yeah, the
He's
butcher,
like,
butcher is tied up.
"Ooh."
Yeah, and then he has the moment where he's like, "Mom, I have to." tell you I'm
He tries to
sorry."
come out as
Straight.
straight. Yeah.
She's just like, "No."
Uh-uh.
yeah,
Yes, that was very funny. I agree.
it was good.
No,
That
no,
was
I,
well
yeah.
But no, to me, you guys were talking about Booker and how handsome he was. He was like the closest to a zero in this movie for me.
Yeah, there's
Like,
not a lot
what was
going
I
on
supposed to
there.
take away? What was I supposed to take away from him? That scene in
Yeah,
the car redeemed him. Like, it made me actually care about him.
sure.
Yeah.
I think the movie very much positions him as the like side piece eye candy. Like that is the
Yeah,
role he is
yeah,
meant to
that's
fulfill
fair.
in this movie. And I think like he
You
as
know what
an
that is,
actor,
Andy?
like
You
he
know what?
provides a little bit extra sensitivity
You
to
know what that is, Andy? That's the progressive agenda right there.
That's true. I tip my cap.
That's a
for that.
himbo.
Ooh,
I think they
Booker
call that.
Shelton. I wonder if he's any relation.
Yeah. There you go. Uriah Sheldon. No, I
I
mean,
don't like anyone with that name. That name makes me uncomfortable. It sounds like an infection, right?
It sounds like urine or like urea.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
urinary tract. Like you got to drink cranberry juice to get rid of urine.
Tis the season. But since we like talked about her friend group a little bit, like I don't know, I like so here's one of like my biggest like quote unquote like problems like with the film in total, right? Like
just own it. You fucking hated this part, whatever you're about to talk about.
all right, so like if we like look up, all right, so Millie is the main character of this movie, right? Like she is our protagonist, and when we are introduced to her, we're introduced to her with like her mom and her sister, and they're all like sitting around like eating breakfast, and they're basically like laying out the plot for you, being like, this is all the grievances and the shit that we have together that we are dealing with, specifically being like their dad being dead. And there's a quote in the movie that says, our dad was our whole world. And there's a quick like close up of a shot of a trash can with an empty bottle of Chardonnay in it. And like that's like our conflict with like these characters, which I don't know about you, Joe, but one empty bottle of Chardonnay, it's not that bad.
Yeah,
That's not,
that's what
especially
I
in
was
these
thinking
modern
that.
times. I mean,
That's
Well, I mean,
Chardonnay's
but they
doing
make it
great in
sound
the
like
pandemic.
there was a problem before, so like it's indicative, right, of a past.
So sure, no, yeah, I get that. That makes sense.
Listen, you got to fall off the
yeah.
wagon somewhere, Andy. It starts with one bottle of wine,
Yeah.
buddy.
God bless
Well-
her dead racist father, right?
And to your point, there's like a couple of scenes later where she doesn't pick Millie up because she's like drunk, passed out on a couch. So fair is
One
fair.
bottle of wine. Come on, if you're a real drunk,
Yeah.
you could.
Yeah,
still,
I didn't believe that.
Joe drives to soccer practice all the time.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, my other question was like, how old is she, and why can't she find another ride home? Like, why is she like a 17-year-old girl, like stranded at the high school?
Well, you know, all these kids, they don't own cars anymore.
Yeah, he might actually be right.
That's
sounds,
a legit
That sounds
thing.
smart.
Like
yeah.
How did
kids
her
of that
friends get
age aren't
home?
really owning cars. Yeah.
Her two friends were there, weren't they? How did they
That
get
is
home?
true, but
The
she
one
was
kid had
expecting
Peter.
she was expecting her mom to pick her up, which is why she didn't go with them.
Wow. If she knows her drunk mom, she shouldn't have expected anything.
Anyway, so like that's like the setup of the conflict or the pieces of the plot that need to be resolved between her and her family. And we don't really ever get that. And that's where the movie kind of like really like leaves me with like just kind of like a very like surface level, this was enjoyable, this is fine, but I don't really get any sense of closure with her character.
Well, no, but
Yeah.
so Andy, you're right, but this is where, and hard spoiler alert here, but like the coda to this film, it's I don't know, it's like a 10-minute segment. So
It's
you
almost
have
like 15 minutes. Like it's way too long on top of like all the other issues.
so
Is
yeah,
it that long?
you have this like climax where they swap bodies back because the whole premise is that she has to swap the bodies in in a day, or she's stuck there permanently. They swap the bodies back, and you're like, oh, I guess she, it's everything's resolved. And I did think the movie was over, and then to Joe's point, 15 more minutes that basically ties up exactly what you're talking about, Andy. And like whether it ties it up effectively or cleanly, you're right. Like most of the rest of the movie ignores that character arc that we were set up to really care about. There's a really nice, I really like the scene with the mom and Vince Vaughn in the dressing room. Like I thought that was like a really nice
Yeah.
scene.
It was, yeah.
But otherwise the rest of the movie doesn't ask you to like think or care
Yeah.
about that entire
Yeah, I guess my biggest gripe with that like last scene was I feel like it all could have been handled with the mom showing up as Vince Vaughn's being loaded into the ambulance. The mom hugs the daughter and like they have like a 2-second conversation and like boom, we're done. Like there was no
I'll
purpose
never
for
drink
that.
again.
That's
Yeah,
what it
exactly,
is.
like-
Joe,
Yeah.
like that's exactly what it is. Like you don't get any sense of closure between the two of them as characters, right?
Yeah.
Like you get like this you know, like needless to say, this like second ending of the film is a little bit more action packed, right?
Well, it's
And so-
basically the Halloween 2018 ending, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And so because of that, like you don't get a sense of them like having any meaningful closure with each other. And her sister is just kind of like this presence that's like important for the plot because she kind of physically moves action forward since she's like a police officer, but you don't really get much from her either.
No. I thought she was the mother's wife when the movie first started. Like,
Sure.
In all seriousness, I actually thought like they were like a female married couple.
That actually is a good question for the group. Is this a breakfast movie?
What's a breakfast?
I don't
movie?
know what that means.
There are two scenes that are set during breakfast, and in both scenes, that mom is making a banana themed breakfast treat.
Hmm.
She's making banana pancakes.
She does mention. She
And
mentions
it's like
caramelized
French toast with
bananas.
caramelized
yeah.
bananas. Yeah.
Mm.
And then the sister shows up. She wanders in the kitchen and she says, "Mom, it smells like a fucking Denny's in here."
Interesting.
Nothing will ever
I mean-
beat Kurt Russell's wife in Bone Tomahawk making 75 eggs behind him in the background of a shot.
I mean, to add on to John's point, like, no alcoholic makes caramelized bananas for breakfast. Like, that's just not a thing that gets done.
That you're real high functioning if you're doing that.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, I made crepes, honey. Now I'm off to my AA meeting. Like, that doesn't happen.
I was already up opening a new bottle, so I figured I'd make some. What
Eric,
was, your
what
guys'
else, guys?
favorite? What was your guys' favorite kill in this movie? I would go as far as to say, while all of them were good and look gory, the one I got the biggest laugh of was in that opening scene with the tennis racket. As you watch him chasing somebody across the
Oh.
tennis court, break the racket over his head, and then stab both sides.
Well,
of
that
his
first
head.
scene is really wild. Like,
Yeah, it
because
is.
I
Yeah.
kind of started this movie. I don't. Maybe I knew it was rated R, but I don't think. Like, I don't remember thinking like, oh, this is gonna be something pretty wild and gory. And that first scene, it's like 4 murders that are just like
Yeah,
no joke.
yeah,
There's some
I-
hardcore shit.
I was really pulling for like the last kill in that scene for her to get away because I did appreciate that. Like we saw a movie where the female was like, you know what, you're taking too long. I'm done. Like just go.
Yeah. That's true.
Like
Oh,
that
yeah,
whole
that was
scene
pretty great.
ended, and like Leslie and I both looked at each other like, I really like her. I hope
What
she
did you
lives.
say? This isn't the all-night drive-in or something like
Yeah, exactly.
that? Or drive-through.
Also, what was the other the
Oh.
girl in the locker room? said,
Clam
like,
jam.
I didn't come here to clam jam.
yeah, that was Ryler.
Yeah.
Dude,
Ryler.
so funny.
Ay.
I have
I
not like
wanna-
legit laughed out loud at like a horror movie in a long time.
Yeah, you were really upset that it seemed like they had the like cryogenic freezing tank. I'm pretty sure that's like
Oh.
a thing. They
No,
had,
it
not-
is a
Is
thing,
that a
but
thing
not
they
in a
have at
high
schools now?
school.
maybe not in high school.
That's-
but
no,
it's
it's-
like
it is a
it is
thing.
like a
It's
sports
like the same
it's
thing
like-
as like an
Yeah,
ice
you do
pack,
it for
right?
it.
Yeah.
It supposedly reduces inflammation. It's like mega cooled like hydrogen or something.
But
Well,
you
yeah,
just
I get-
can't
I
leave
get
one
what-
of those things sitting around where anyone can
No.
go and like
Especially
fuck
with high
around
school
with it.
kids.
It's like I get what it's for. I understand that these things exist in the world, but leaving it unlocked next to
Yeah.
high schoolers and it can get to negative 300 Fahrenheit. Like what? Like,
Also,
no.
Mythbusters
Yeah,
also-
as soon as a high
way
schooler
the
discovers
first time
that
someone
thing.
died in that thing.
Mythbusters did a
yeah.
whole thing in that Jason X scene where he freezes her head in liquid nitrogen and then smashes it, and they said that wouldn't happen like that.
Yeah,
so.
that thing was sitting unlocked. There was definitely a nerd got stuffed in there by a jock at some point and turned
Yeah.
on.
Yeah, that seemed kind of crazy too. I agree. Although it is whatever. They're in California, right? Crazy shit happens out there, John.
That's true. I guess.
The wine bottle in the opening was also
Oh, yeah.
shit!
Yeah.
Yeah,
That was
was
pretty
the
creative,
first one,
too.
right?
It was-
That's yeah. I think that kind of set the tone. That like,
Yeah.
all right, this is gonna go bananas. Oh, I like movies, guys. I just like movies and film.
Let's
And
watch
I-
his house again
Yeah,
next week.
Joe, isn't it
please.
nice to remember that and not have a movie just destroy your soul?
I have not
Yes.
watched Hill House or His House, and like I don't.
Oh God,
I
don't.
think you all liked it, but like I don't think I can. Like, I think I'm
Listen,
done.
Joe, just whatever the movie was that year that you put on your top 10 list, even though you didn't see it, like just tell people you saw it and just be like, yeah, it's really deep. Like it really made me think about refugees and stuff.
I think I'm
very
alright.
powerful.
It was
I got
scary.
mine.
Like, because that way
I got
you're
my
doing
top
your
10.
part by spreading the word, and it is a really good movie. You can believe it, but you don't actually have to watch it and do that to yourself because it hurts.
I think I'm all right.
Yeah, when we started corresponding over email, I was scrolling through the episodes and I was like, Relic, his house. Yeah, I can understand why they're liking this.
Speaking
Yeah.
of
It's been,
speaking of Joe, I'm gonna need my top 10 list for Freaky.
Yeah, I already got mine in front of me.
All
so.
right, awesome. Anything else, you guys?
Eric, I gotta know when Vince Vaughn says the line, "I smell like hot dog water." Did you get excited?
I
mean,
did. I 100%.
I did. I sure did. Yeah.
Uh,
It was hilarious how disgusting the place he lived in was.
yeah.
And that whole
was,
scene with the
Well, the
like
hobo
homeless,
shows up,
yeah, like
yes,
asking
yeah.
for
drugs.
drugs. She's like, I don't have drugs.
That didn't make any sense.
Oh,
but, you know,
God.
it is what it is.
Amazing. Like, because I was thinking, does the hobo know him? Like, is the hobo in his normal life like a friend of his? Because the hobo seemed real comfortable
Well,
just strolling into the
The
old
place
mill.
he just sleeps, there was no walls. Like there was,
And there were
the
like
Yeah.
windows were
bones. It was
open.
very Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There were like bone things hanging around and like,
Yeah,
was-
I
I
did
figured
find
it was
very
like a-
strange. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead, Casey.
I was gonna say I figured it was like one of those heroin dens or something like that. You know, when they all pile up in an old church or something like that.
Well, yeah, but in that respect, I'm like, how has this guy not been caught? Like,
Well,
it's
exactly.
yeah.
a wide
Yeah.
open building. Like, I get it's abandoned, but like at a certain point, high school kids or something are gonna like wander by and be like, "Oh, there's that butcher guy."
Or they're gonna hold a homecoming dance impromptu
Yeah.
in his den.
In his den, yeah, exactly.
Okay. Would you recommend this, Andy?
Yeah, of course.
Joe?
Yes, yeah.
Casey?
Yes.
John?
Yes.
Hell yeah. 5 thumbs up. The BGH career. When was the last time that happened, John? I don't know.
I don't know.
Can't
it's
tell
probably
you.
been like
It probably happened
couple
last
weeks.
week, but I don't care. I'm gonna say it's important. All right, guys. It's gonna do it for Freaky. Let's take a quick break and do some fan mail.
A showdown is about to begin between the soldiers of the day and the army of the night. You can't kill me. James Woods. Oh my baby. John Carpenter's Vampires. Opens everywhere October 30th.
Hey, I'm Joe Bob Briggs, and you're listening to the Bloody Good Horror Podcast.
Send feedback to info@bloodygoodhorror.com or on Twitter using hashtag AskBGH. Join Patreon to get back episodes and much more. Patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
And we're back. John,
Yeah.
another piece of BGH lore was added last week when we recorded a whole show on the movie Porno that could not be released on the main feed because of technical difficulties. But I wanted to make sure to mention that we did post it for patrons. I was not happy enough with the audio quality to put it out on the main feed, but if you're a patron, you're already a crazy person, so have at it. It's in your feed, and if you want, you can join for $1 a month, John, and just to listen to that freaky episode. So patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror.
The episode was, I would say, quite good. You know,
Yeah.
a solid episode. The movie, not as good.
Not
Yeah.
so much.
John climaxed during the episode. It was weird.
Hey Joe, can we look at my top 10 list?
Yeah, we can. Do you
Love
want to
it.
know what you
Thanks,
got on
bud.
there right now?
Yeah, yeah.
All right. In ascending order, you got Possessor at number 1, then Host, Relic, The Invisible Man, The Rental, Vampires versus the Bronx, Come to Daddy, VFW, Underwater, Gretel and Hansel.
I think you could boot VFW off that list
Oh, just replace
and
this with
just
that.
do a 1 for 1. Yeah, they're all
Put it
gonna get rearranged. I think at some point. But
All right. You got it, buddy.
thanks, bro. It's been a very interesting year for movies. I'm kind of excited for the year-end show. I mean, like bad in some ways, but also like has surfaced a lot. Like our entire list almost this year is like indie stuff, because that's just mostly what came out.
It's basically everything.
Because anything big got pushed and held, you know, until recently.
Yeah, I
And
feel
they
like the
just
horror
started giving
stuff.
up.
Well, no, that's not true. You're right. All the like, if you look at like the really big, Candyman, yeah, that stuff all got pushed for sure.
Yeah,
Which
I have
I'm
a
super
sneaky
psyched that
suspicion,
got
like,
pushed.
all of our list is going to be like all over the map.
Yeah, it'll be
'cause
fun.
I feel like it's going to be a lot of work for John and his Excel documents and his abacus.
I think we'll be all right.
Andy, tell me about bloodygoodhorror.com.
Well, it's a year-end season. Everyone, look out. Which means that there's a lot of movie watching and reviews right now on the website, bloodygoodhorror.com. For example, Sophie just reviewed La Llorona. That's the Guatemalan film that was released in the States this year, not the Linda Cardinale film.
I was going to say, yeah, I thought it was that.
Yeah, different movie. This one is apparently much better. Luke reviewed The Wolf of Snow Hollow, and then we also got reviews for His House and Vampires vs. the Bronx. And starting next week, everyone can be on the lookout for the individual best of the year Bloody Good Horror lists.
Andy, are you excited to edit Joe's list? Yeah,
Hell yeah, always.
Yeah, it's fun. It's always.
And then one final tease. Natalie is currently working on the next Primal Scream, talking about psychology and possessor.
Oh.
I mean, good luck.
When that one lady put on that face, that was scary. The one lady in the dude's body then put on a lady face, right? Isn't that what happened?
Yeah,
right?
More or less.
Because Lady Assassin, she jacks into the dude's body, and then she's having like these weird dreams where then that guy has her like disembodied face on, right? Because she's losing
it's
control.
in a dream. I mean, she's not
Shit's
really doing
freaky.
For a hot second, I was like, you guys are spoiling some pretty important stuff. And then I was like, it doesn't matter.
No, we're not.
Like, you could hear that. And like, yeah.
Yeah, you're still not going to understand.
Oh,
It's like-
I did see that movie.
You didn't. I don't think you liked it very much, Joe. It's fine.
Yeah, it
It's
wasn't
okay.
okay.
Don't get me wrong.
That's all right, though. Everybody's got opinions.
That's true. info@bloodygoodhorror.com is email address. No email this week. So, Joe, what do we got on the Twitter?
We got some tweets, and strap in, fellas, because it's going to be a long ride.
All right, let's do it.
First up from resident attorney at Space, that's our buddy Adam. If you had to switch bodies with one other host, who would it be and why?
Oh God, Schnars! I want to be able to run like a gazelle again. Look at it. Is it like an
Not
iguanas?
even a question. Yeah, Schnars.
Yeah.
I guess I would stay in my own body.
No, but Eric is going to be the answer for absolutely no one. Like, hey, I want a body that's falling apart.
It's like, I don't want the responsibilities that Casey or Joe have. Eric, I had to walk you to a Jamba Juice one time. I don't need that. Schnars, like, you got a lot of kids, but
that is so funny.
You got some in-laws to help with that.
I woke up.
Fresh seafood.
I woke up at the God, what was that? That was Milwaukee. That wasn't the 10-year. That was the last one. The last meetup we did a couple last year, right? That was only last
Chicago.
year.
No, it was the
Jesus
10-year.
Christ.
Our Jamba Juice walk, anyway.
And I was just like, Andy, like, bring me to liquefy. No, it wasn't the 10-year, Andy. This was last year. Because it was in
Last year,
Milwaukee.
what are you talking about? Right?
Yeah,
Last year we had Starbucks nearby.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you got your Jamba Juice, that was Milwaukee. So that was the
Crazy.
10-year.
Milwaukee is the home of Jamba Juice.
Either way, I made Andy walk me to a place where I could get an infusion of life-giving materials, and kind of helped a little bit.
Instead, you picked Jamba Juice.
It
All
worked.
right, John, you okay? Because we got a long way to go here.
I'm ready. Let's do this.
All right. All right, last up for tweets. Skizbot. With all the work parties being canceled or held over Zoom this year, have you ever been to a truly amazing or truly awful work holiday party?
I've only been to one real legit one, and it was at a restaurant, and I just remember I had just started there. Like, it was a matter of less than a month. And they were like replacing my beer out of my hand, the the wait staff there, when it was like a third left, and that was not a good idea. Like, I got too drunk and was getting like way too talkative, like with people I didn't know. So that was kind of I've not gone to a real one since. Like I'm good.
Yeah.
We've never had Christmas parties where we get alcohol or anything. We get like a banquet lunch during work.
That's what
at
we
the,
get. That's what we get
hotel
now,
across
which
the
I'm
street.
perfectly good with. I take an hour, I'll eat a meal with you people, and then I'm gonna go back to work, and we don't have to like socialize.
Mm-mm.
Like,
Yeah.
No, I need open bar and just legit like uncomfortable glances the next day.
Yeah. Well, Joe, I mean,
sounds
Joe
awful.
has worked in agency land for a long time. I mean, you
Yeah.
guys throw some parties. Joe brings this up occasionally. I used to work at Google. I have not been there in a long time. I was there back when they used to throw like pretty outrageous holiday party. I mean, the company has more money than fucking they know what to do with. So they threw, I mean, just outrageous. Like Eric, what you're talking about, but like with like liquor. I mean, it's just,
Yeah.
and like, food if you wanted it, just like unlimited food, but also just if you didn't, you'd get yourself into trouble. So
Yeah. The last few years, my office, like, I think the best ones are usually where they just rent out a restaurant or a bar and just have great food and just open bar.
I've never
the ones
worked at
where
a
they're,
place.
like, try and have like a theme or like people dress up nice. Like those are never fun.
I don't think I've
Like,
ever
the ones
worked at a
where you can
place
just
with
get
a ton of
blitzed.
people that like I would want to do. Like I don't want to drink with our sales department. Like, are you fucking kidding? That sounds like my nightmare. Like, don't
No,
wanna
I
do that.
usually find like a group of 5 other people that are equally as assholey as me and get hammered and like just get belligerent, making fun of everyone else in the corner.
you guys might be surprised to hear this, but I actually don't drink at holiday parties. So, psych.
Yeah. I've definitely made some mistakes and like the next day been like,
John, have you
But also,
ever
like,
have you ever gone to the quiet place that you go to at one of these parties?
Dude, I've been to every place you can imagine.
Like that
Yeah.
The
glassy,
one
like
time
that
I hung out with
glassy-eyed,
Joe-
you can't form sentences anymore thing you do.
Oh, for sure. I hung out with Joe one time in Chicago because I was in town to go to the Chicago team's holiday party.
Like
And
you,
that got a little out of control.
you
so-
drink yourself high, which I've never seen anyone else that can do it. It's like you drink so much that then you start acting high. Like you can't talk and you're giggling and you're smiling and you can't talk. Like it's the
Yeah,
weirdest thing.
dude, it's called having a great time. Don't worry about
Are
it.
you? I
Yeah.
can't tell. How would I ever know if you're having a good time? You can't verbalize.
There's a smile on my face. That's what it comes down to. So-
yeah. I just get real loud and like scream a lot, and like people just like it because like I'm a big dumb idiot. So they're like, "Oh, this is fun. This Joe guy's fun." Yeah,
You're
Get
like
a
the Vince
microphone in that
Vaughn of
man's
the
hand.
holiday parties.
a little bit. Yeah.
Until someone
Like,
asks you a
we-
question about your childhood and gets way too honest of an answer.
We had our last year one was all right, but we had it at like a piano bar, and just like I
I'm
like
sure.
to sing when I get a few in me, and like I couldn't speak for like 3 days after.
Those songs they do at piano bars too. They're all singing songs too. Like
I kept requesting Ben's Fold songs, and they never played them, and I got vocal about my anger.
I'm gonna be honest with you, Joe. That sounds like a nightmare to me.
Yeah, well, it's a nightmare for most people around me, but I had a blast. That's it for tweets. We only had 2. Over on Instagram, we are Bloody Good Horror on Instagram. Every Tuesday, we just post up if you want to send in dumb questions or something. First up, from our resident refuser to use the entry form. If you all could trade bodies with someone for 48 hours, who would it be and why?
Oh, like anyone?
Anyone.
The Rock, but only on cheat days.
Yeah.
I don't know. I do like COD, so I think I'd be fine with the regular.
I
day.
mean, Joe. I mean, Brad Pitt, right?
Well, honestly, no. I think I would literally choose any of our Patreons, because they get to watch this feed and enjoy me,
Right.
and I've always been jealous of them. So I would just like to, like, I would do it on like a Wednesday, so just in case we record a day late or something. Like, I would just want to be them and be able to enjoy what they're all seeing right now versus me having to give it always.
Did you guys figure out already that half of Joe's profits from Cameo were him sending cameos to himself?
It's just the holidays are coming up. If anyone is looking for a beautiful holiday gift for their family or loved ones,
If you're looking to show your loved ones you don't love or understand them, send them a cameo from Joe.
Gather around, family.
Leslie walks into
You
a
know what I
dark
want?
room and
Listen.
you're just sitting there with your phone staring
I
at
want
it.
someone to pay you to be the person to tell their kids Santa Claus isn't real. That's what I want.
oh my god, dreams. I wanna do a divorce. Like I wanna tell someone, like, if not a divorce, like a relationship. Like that's my goal in life. Like
This
What
isn't
about
working.
Joe, if only you'd been doing this 6 months ago, you could help me out.
yeah.
Would have made things way easier.
Ay. It's so dark. This is going to a dark place.
That might be the greatest thing you've ever said on the show. All right, over to the other questions. Which is better, chicken and waffles or chicken on a biscuit?
Ooh, waffles for sure.
Yeah, I would go waffles too. If I'm gonna have biscuits, I'm going sausage gravy on there.
Yeah, I'll go waffle too. All right, you sold me.
See, the waffles have got some air in them. Biscuit is just like a brick.
That's
so you gotta have a
true.
little bit of air.
That's true.
I love a good biscuit, but
I mean,
You're
I do
right.
love a
Actually, I
biscuit,
think
but
you're
when I'm
right.
eating fried
You're right.
chicken too.
It's a texture thing. Yeah. I
Um,
made
here's one.
I made chicken wings in the air fryer tonight, Joe. Delicious.
I love a chicken wing. I think the wife, the air fryer, I don't know, it's like the 90s kid in me is like opposed to getting one just because everyone loves it, but I think we're getting close to breaking down.
Oh, Joe.
Well, Eric, I was going to ask if an air fryer was the new large TV.
No,
Yeah.
dude, mine costs $30. I cook every meal in it, and it's incredible. You guys hear the train coming through right now?
Yeah. I think my problem is like the space it takes up. Like
They're big.
I don't want to deal with.
They're big, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
Especially if you get a decent one that can cook more than a meal for one person. They're massive.
Yeah, I think that's our problem. Here's one for everyone, and I want everyone's opinion. Now that the season is over, almost, Monique or Candace? I've swapped to Monique. This obviously, John, is a Real Housewives of Potomac question. John, your thoughts first.
Monique, yeah, sure.
Yeah,
Monique.
agreed. So I was Candace at first, but now I feel like she's just dragging this out and looking for sympathy. Also,
What a
that fuck-
bitch! I
that
tell you.
singing at that party, just a goddamn nightmare. Like, don't ever do that.
awful.
I assume everybody else agrees. Next up, I need another cameo from Joe. Horror centric or something else?
I think
my
I think
response
so- I
was,
think
it really doesn't matter
it-
what you ask for. Like, it's just gonna go where it goes.
Ask him to do an Elf on the Shelf.
How does somebody
Yeah.
find you, Joe? Do we have is it like cameo.com/ or do they have to just search?
Yeah, cameo.com/ I think it's either Bloody Good Horror or BG Horror.
Or-
If you just search for us on Cameo,
or
you'll
if
find
you're
it.
like me, you just see Joe's face auto-generated into ads on Facebook.
Yeah, that's disturbing. That's not great for anyone. Here's an interesting one. Skin tags. Pull them off or leave them be.
Oh God.
Leave them be.
Yeah, leave them, dude, or talk to a doctor. Like, don't do that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I've ripped them off in the past. I'll be honest.
Oh,
Yeah,
God.
take them off, but make sure you start a YouTube channel first.
There you go.
No, forget that, dude. OnlyFans. There's got to be some fetish out there,
Oh
right?
my lord!
Make some money off
Here's
that
one for the holidays. What name would you give your elf on the shelf?
Steve.
I
Ah,
have major problems with Elf on a Shelf. I think it's psychotic in a good way to like really fuck your kids up. So I don't.
It's a fucking nightmare. My mother-in-law got us one
I think
years
it's
ago, and I
bizarre.
fucking hate it. And
Yeah.
We tried it for legit like 3 days, and we were just like, no, fucking, we're not doing this anymore.
the
I
problem,
missed
like,
that train, thankfully.
the 9-year-old is like super into it too. So like, luckily, like she expects zero like effort. So I literally just like, here, I'll put it on this shelf today. All right, now it's over here in the corner.
It's on a shelf. I mean, it's
Yeah.
The real nerdy
Uh,
answer is Foucault, but then the actual
Oh,
answer is
Lord.
Yuri.
There you go.
Ours is
Solid.
named Ellie because we let the child name it anyway. What is the best Christmas present you have given or received?
Mm.
Everyone.
Does it
faces on
count
this
if
call.
I asked for it specifically? Because then it's just like I
Yeah.
picked an awesome thing for myself.
I think I've told this. Pirates on DVD,
The DVD.
years
yeah.
ago. Yeah.
When
it was
you
a
mean the
good-
You
porno
got it for yourself,
for
is what
people?
you-
No, this was a gift from the missus. And
But
that's
you-
how I knew she was the one.
You mean the porno, just so people know.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Is there another one?
I mean, you could have just been talking about like in shorthand.
Anyone else?
I would say when I was real young is right after my parents got divorced. It's not going to get dark or sad. Don't worry. My
Already
mom
has?
got me a Millennium Falcon for Christmas, and I already had one, but I'd
Oh,
broken
that's a
it,
good one.
hadn't told her, so it was pretty cool. I got a new one to play with.
We did one year get the GI Joe aircraft carrier, which
Ooh.
was
That's
fucking
awesome.
gigantic, and like eventually had to be dismantled like shortly after Christmas because it took up the entire living room. But
I mean,
I've seen
I
that in person a couple times.
I remember the Christmas like really vividly. My aunt got us an NES. Like that was pretty exciting.
yeah,
I
those
remember
ones.
getting the NES too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Super NES, that was mine for sure.
How about this? Predator 1 or 2?
They're both
One.
they're both
Yeah,
great.
I would
I love
always
two
go one.
as well, but they're both
Yeah, they're both good.
Two's just weird. It's just such a great fish out of water thing. It's awesome.
Be honest, which one of you guys are most likely to be on Santa's naughty list?
I mean, I keep saying I don't leave this fucking house, so like I don't know how I'm getting on the naughty list. But
Yeah, I'm obviously angling for his job, so it's not me.
I mean, Andy, you're a freak, right? Like you do weird shit.
It's probably me.
Yeah. What's the verdict on eggnog?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean,
Yeah,
yes.
I'm very pro.
I've
in
never
small
had it.
quantities. Stop it! You've never.
Is it true,
had
Joe, that
Never
like
had it.
is it
Never had eggnog.
Joe? Is it
Never.
true?
Go
that-
to the store and buy eggnog. Like,
Yeah,
it's
you
pretty
gotta at
delicious.
least try it.
Joe, is it
You guys
true?
get Oberweis up there, Andy?
Yes.
We do.
Yeah, get the Oberweis eggnog. It'll cure what ails you.
Joe, isn't
Is
it
it
true that like the
pre-mixed, Joe?
actual recipe you like let age on your countertop, like not frozen, not
We've
refrigerated?
never actually made it, but like every year I say I'm going to, and I've always read Alton Brown's recipe, and like he makes it in like June or something ridiculous.
Oh,
Like
wow.
yeah, we
Well,
do make
which is-
coquito, which
is
is like
crazy
the
'cause
Puerto
it's
Rican
like-
version
It's
of
like eggs
eggnog.
and cream and shit, right? Like, and it just
Yeah.
sits out. Like, how does that work? I'm
I
fascinated.
don't know.
by
I
it.
don't know the science behind it. We make coquito, which is like the Puerto Rican version of eggnog, and it is freaking delicious. But like that, we just let sit in the fridge for like a couple of weeks, and it's mostly rum.
I was
so.
gonna say how much alcohol is in it. Like, it
It's
sounds
a
great.
lot. Like
Yeah.
Hey Joe, I don't want to make you jealous, but we get Oberweis delivered every other Monday.
oh my god, wow. What do you do with all those? I guess they take it back, right? Because they
Yeah,
come
you
in
get-
these glass
You get a
jars.
deposit back.
Yeah. Where were we? What's the verdict? Yeah. Tell me what to put in my morning coffee. Or sorry, tell me what to put in my coffee this morning. And this was last Tuesday, so we're obviously late. But she
Nothing-
wants to
you
know.
put nothing
Just
in your
put
coffee.
in some creamer.
You just make good
Yeah.
coffee and then drink it. Nothing goes in coffee.
I go straight milk or
No.
whole milk usually.
Yeah.
No.
I like
Half
black
and half.
coffee. Makes me feel like I'm better than other people.
Yeah.
But I told
I'm an
her,
iced coffee all year round kind of person,
Yeah.
so maybe
Me
some
too.
ice
Leslie
cubes.
too. Cold brew.
Ice
like she
cubes
will
are
only-
fine. Yeah, ice cubes are fine. But I'll take like iced coffee black too. Like I love a good cold brew without anything in it.
Yeah.
I've
I'd
reached
say.
the age and deterioration of my body. I got to be careful on which kind of coffee I get because it'll give me a stomach ache because of the acid.
Yeah.
Casey, do
I
you
get that now,
know
too,
that
I'm
they?
like,
Casey, do you
Can
know
I
that?
change my answer to that tweet to shift into Casey's body?
Casey, you're gonna want to look up something called Mellow Belly. It is a brand of coffee that is low acid, and they're like coffee
Oh, yeah.
beans that are specifically bred and grown to have a low acid content.
Well, and that's cool. I'll have to check that out. But usually, if it's like a medium roast or lower, I'm pretty good. And like that Starbucks blonde roast, perfect.
the blonde. I was gonna say.
I love the blonde roast.
Or if you just want it sweet, maybe dip your thumb in there. Uh, all right, we got two more here. Is it
Just a
possible
honey
to
stick.
have? Is it possible to have bed bug singular?
Pretty
Uh,
sure it's.
I'm gonna
they
guess where
come in
there's one. Where
gangs.
there's one,
Yeah.
there's more.
I mean, they got to start somewhere, right? Like, there's got to be just one at some point.
I mean, I guess like one could have caught on to you and ridden
Yeah.
home. But
Yeah, but they're kind of like rabbits.
Well, what if it's a Ratatouille situation?
Oh, and they help you cook.
Yeah, they just ride around on you all
Yeah.
day.
What was
You're
that?
your new
Joe's
friend.
apartment.
yeah.
Yep.
All right. Last but not least, are you prepared for lockdown part 2, the lockening?
I don't go anywhere now, so you know.
I was gonna say, like, I don't feel like we ever got out of lockdown 1. So
Yep.
Well, some people clearly.
Does Mia
clearly
go to
do.
school, Joe?
she was, and just Tuesdays and Thursdays, and then just recently, now that we're like getting into cold and flu, and like we've spiked here, we've pulled her back. So
Gotcha.
she's all remote again.
Yeah. My kids still go every day, but the school's tiny. It's like 10 kids in a class.
Yeah.
so-
Ours, I don't know. This is more than anyone needs to know, but like we are the only school. Her elementary school is the only one in the district that has not gone back to full remote, and like we are baffled and can't figure it out why.
Wow.
But like, luckily,
Wow.
we have the option to like just keep her home, which we did.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's a high note.
Yeah.
Good times.
Well, I have a game that we can play real quick if you guys want to end on a better note.
I sure do.
Yeah.
All right, this is going to be called the Who Made Who movie switcheroo. And I'm going to give you the title
Never
and
mind.
the description of 4 movies, and you're going to tell me which one is not real.
Oh, okay.
All right,
Wait,
ready?
wait. Are we going one at a time?
No,
Alright.
this is going to be like a group effort. So
Okay,
like
got it.
we'll do a cumulative. Okay, first one. A Christmas Switch. two women magically switch bodies during the holidays and learn valuable lessons about family, love, and Christmas cheer. All right, so that's number 1.
Joe's seen that one, so he knows that's real.
Number 2, Christmas Trade. A week before Christmas, a workaholic widower and his 11-year-old son get a shock when their wish unexpectedly comes true.
Christmas Trade?
Christmas Trade.
Yeah, okay.
Number 3, Jesus, the daughter of God.
Okay.
Yes. I got a good Jesus story, but we can say.
I mean, that's gotta be real because it's so ridiculous, right?
The plot of this one: a go-go dancer quantum leaps into the body of Jesus. She doesn't believe that the experience is real, so she has fun altering biblical events.
Holy shit! If
we do
that's
that movie
real,
next
we're
week?
doing it next week. Yeah.
All right, last one. Copposites. A cop and a crook are exposed to a DNA-altering formula that switches them into each other's bodies and forces them to work together in order to switch back.
Okay, I'm gonna say it's composites because that's funny, but that cannot be real.
I'm going with C.
What's
yeah,
that?
I would go. I'm gonna go C too. Yeah,
That's always the
go-go
trick
dancer
question, guys.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I have definitely seen one, the Christmas Switch, and I think I've seen the second one you mentioned too. I'm gonna go Coppasons.
The correct response is E. They're all real movies.
Oh, boo! That's some
Son of a-
bullshit.
Whoa.
Oh, what just
Okay.
happened?
That's some
That was
bullshit.
weird.
That's some bullshit, Andy.
You tricked us. You done tricked us, Andy. In any event, my Jesus story is my 4-year-old learned about Jesus at school this year or this week. So,
Nice.
you know, we don't keep a lot of religion in the house, but
Yeah.
she's at a religious school because it's the one that's open. So we send her, and she came home. She's like, you know, Jesus is the Son of God.
Oh my God.
So every
Yeah, good luck.
night at dinner this week, we've been like,
Good luck
so
with that.
Luce,
Good luck with that.
did you learn
Shams.
anything about Jesus today?
So
Are you gonna give her a photo of yourself to take to school?
Yeah, exactly. Basically, yeah, like we got it home.
I remember
good times.
in before times, Mia, my 9-year-old, used to go out every Friday night and have dinner, just the two of us. And I remember Martin Luther King Day, when she first learned about Martin Luther King. We were sitting there and she was telling me about it. And then she just yells out, "I didn't even know Martin Luther King was black." And I'm like, "What?" Sure is, sweetie. Anyway, here's some cheese sticks.
Yeah.
You
Oh
know,
Lord.
Those kids, they say the darndest things, don't they?
They sure do.
Yeah.
That's it for Instagram and tweets.
Love
we're
it.
done.
All right. Well, we haven't completely figured out what the next couple weeks are going to look like. We did kind of miss a week last week, even though we recorded a show. So we're on, I think this is 598. So we got, what do we just this week? We're either going to do a review and then a year ender, or we're doing the year ender next week, but we haven't decided. We will let you know. Hang out on Slack, hang out on our Twitter, and we'll let you know. And yeah, if you want to see a now newly again functional live stream of Bloody Good Horror, check out patreon.com/bloodygoodhorror, and don't forget to search for us on Cameo. You can have Joe send some season greetings or a divorce notice to your loved one
Who
of
wouldn't
choice.
want that? Just those two things. That's all.
That's all it is. I mean, just use your imagination. Joe could say literally anything. Like,
If you're looking for a personalized Hallmark Christmas movie to watch,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah.
Cameo. It's
Yeah.
there for you.
I
Got
want
it all.
somebody to pay you to like send their significant other a message to like get them in the mood. Like they'll play this at the beginning of the lovemaking session, just like, now prepare yourself. Like, I just want some Joe
Oh.
advice, you know.
I mean, honestly, I think any of them that I've done would do that.
Just play any cameo.
just go. I mean, they show like the last 2 or 3 I've done,
I
so
love
just
it.
do those. But if you want one specifically with your lover's name in it,
Yeah.
you got to pay for that.
I think-
Otherwise, you're
Yeah, that's a key.
Now, Joe, are
key
you
point.
tagged as a fluffer on Cameo?
Should I? I wonder if I can.
Hashtag aphrodisiac. Okay. So yeah, Christmas spirit, guys. That's what we have here. That's gonna do it for our review of Freaky. Hope you enjoyed the show. We'll talk to you next week.
See you.
Farewell.
Goodbye, everybody.
Bye-bye.